right. Set it up. How's your microphone feel? You good over there, Matt?
Hi.
All right.
The exact energy we need.
Oh man! All right, I can already tell how this is gonna go.
I literally just looked down. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Oh, that's right, headset. Yes.
I'm glad that Ian remembered to brush his hair today.
I did not.
I know.
Yeah,
this is why I'm pointing it out.
I still smell like the beer from last time.
That's victory, my friend. That's victory.
I opened one bloodshot eye a few hours ago.
The alcohol was like, finish him.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Flawless victory. No, he's still alive.
I
right.
like to think of myself as like tempered in the alcohol. Like it forged my body into a suit of armor that can handle challenges of life.
I was just testing the button still works.
All right.
Yeah, it works. It works.
Seems like everything's working fine. That's
Where are the strings?
good. That's wonderful.
Yeah, Eddie's always pulling them. All right, man, hit it up. Let's do it. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson, Ian, and our special guest today, Matt
Hilton. This song sucks, by the way.
did it for us. So, I mean...
Yes, for those of you that do not know, he's a wizard on the guitar. He helped create this for us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you just did a gig last night, too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I'm hungover as shit.
Very nice.
So tell us about the Kindly Crooks, the band you play in.
So I play with a good friend of mine, Ricky Bobby. I met him he worked at WIRK.
Hold on a second.
Is
it the Ricky Bobby?
Is that his real name or is
Yeah.
that
Nice.
Has no idea what to do with his hands if he's not playing drums. And he's amazingly talented. He has his own band, The Shake, as well, where he plays guitar and sings. But he and I play as a duo.
Nice.
So he plays drums and I play guitar. And
That's the dude that freestyles too, right?
yeah.
I will say this. I was blown the fuck away by
good
how
he is?
good this guy can spit. Because I forget what you guys were. I think it was Copper Blues.
Yeah.
And he just started going. And I was like, holy shit. You didn't expect it. Like,
Right,
long
right.
hair white dude on the drums.
Yeah.
just starts ripping the place. People went nuts. Just ripping the place
and
apart.
he
That's
has no fear about like rearranging songs and making it entertaining. That's one of the things we try to do is like we get inspiration from kind of DJs where it's like right when you're sick of a song and it turns into another song.
That's what's up.
So we try to like throw different songs together, but we were with another guy playing and we were playing Boys Around Here from Blake Shelton and he goes, why don't I throw this rap in the middle of this? And it was like Eminem.
I literally think
awesome.
the song was like Sweet Home Alabama or some shit, and then it just turned into like the hardest mixtape I've heard in like years. I was like, what just happened?
That's artistry at its
it's
finest.
Exactly.
talent.
Yeah, we do like a Nirvana type version of Gautier, Somebody I Used to Know.
Nice.
Which is a
Wow.
pretty heavy song. If you the
yeah.
words are it's this light little pop song. I'm like, fuck this, we're doing like so we go full distortion for the chorus.
That was
and
a
shit
great
and-
music video. Just a creepy dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
a Van Gogh painting.
yeah, like pumped up kicks. The first time I heard it,
yeah.
I'm like, man, this is a
great
really
song.
cool
Until-
song.
until you get to the
really
substance.
upbeat, and then you're like, wait, this is about a
School
school
shooting?
shooting.
There's
I can't dance to this.
there was a great
in
quote
public.
when I went to the country Western Hall of Country Music Hall of Fame
Nashville?
in Nashville.
Nashville.
And there's a big quote. I can't remember who said it. I wish I could, but he said, in the good times you listen to the music, in the bad times you listen to the words.
That's
And I'm like, I did not realize that until that was on a wall. I'm like, he's right.
yeah.
He is right.
Yeah.
And then you start slowly crying.
Yeah.
In the corner, like,
Oh yeah. Then the deep reflection
I
starts.
don't do anything slowly.
so you play cover songs, or do you play original songs? As
Yeah,
well?
well,
How does it
I
work?
want to start this time of year. I want to start writing some original stuff just for me. It's not like I want to like go on tour or anything. It's just stuff that I want to get off my chest and stuff. And Ricky's really good at writing. Like I said, that the Shake, check him out. They're awesome. He writes all original stuff. So
Very nice. Very nice.
it's the Shake FL is his original band, but we're gonna start writing stuff for us. But yeah, mostly in the bar. People People want to hear originals often.
They
so.
just want to go
Exactly. So do
online.
I'm like, I want to play my favorite music.
Yeah.
In fact, it is a curse in a way because you see these artists who, like, 20 years down the road, you can imagine how much they'd want to get up and go, you know what, fuck it, let's just play the favorite songs we want to play. Nope, you have to play your hits again and again, and then go to the next city.
What's that? The Will Ferrell thing?
I was thinking the same thing.
Play Ya Ding Dong.
Play Ya Ya Ding Dong.
Play Ya Ya Ding Dong.
He's like, but you guys don't want to hear my new song. No, play Ya Ya Ding Dong.
And he gets all excited. He's like, he's going to play it. What is that movie? Eurovision.
Yes.
Check out Eurovision, guys.
Such a
Great
good
film.
movie.
I think
Great film.
that's fairly common for bands that are like 20 years strong, where they're like, we're gonna play we'll play a couple of the new ones, and then we'll get to the ones you came here for.
Well, that's the joke.
But we want to play something new.
Yeah.
Then we'll play what you want to hear.
Well, we went and saw the Counting Crows a few years ago, and it was the same thing. They have so many hits, but they played most of their new stuff, and I'm like, weird thing is, I was like a little upset at the time, but I'm like, I don't blame you, man. It's like at least you played a few of the hits. They're probably just like, and he's always been a guy. I forget the lead singer's name, but he's he just does his own thing. So
that's like the lead singer of Tool. He's the definition of doing his own thing. I'm trying to think of his name, but he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I only know one Tool. He's right there.
He does. Yeah. Did you just point to Ian's dick?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, it got in the way. And he just throws his hands up like, what the fuck?
Tool is, isn't it Trent Reznor? Is that Tool?
Trent Reznor is Nine Inch Nails.
Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Another dark, creepy band. But
Yes.
let's see here. It's killing me. He's on the Joe Rogan show.
Can I connect to the Wi-Fi?
Oh yeah, he does the wine on the side.
He has his own vineyard. He's a really interesting guy. But he choked a dude out on stage one time.
Yes.
Like live at a concert, the guy came on stage. He literally took his back, put him in a rear naked choke, and continued to sing.
And that was at a wedding.
Was that a wedding? That's amazing. I love that shit.
I seen one recently. It was a rapper. He was singing, and some guy comes up onto the stage, and he just looks over at his security. I mean, the guy that was on stage was like 90 pounds. Biggest security man I ever seen. Just full, bam, crushes him. That half of the stage goes black as they're dragging him off the stage, and he walks to the other side to keep rapping.
That's amazing.
It was fantastic.
That's amazing.
Fade to black.
Yeah.
The lead singer of Tool, Maynard James Keenan.
Maynard,
There it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So usually, we like to start the podcast with things we've seen, done, things like that. So for me, I watched the trailer to Hawkeye.
Yep.
I know he's the superhero with the best abilities.
Oh yeah,
The ability of archery.
Yes.
unstoppable.
He's basically Robin Hood without the tights. Like, at least Robin Hood, Men in Tights, made you laugh. You look at Jeremy Renner's
So did Kevin Costner, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. That performance made me cry.
That was a good movie.
Oh, yeah, that's
Good
true.
movie.
Wait a second.
Gonna cut out your heart with a spoon. Because it's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more.
Such a good movie.
Wait, so you're saying that the Russell Crowe Robin Hood wasn't better?
Fuck no.
Okay. Oh, all right, just checking.
No, oh my God.
Yeah, but I was watching the trailer, and it looks cool. It looks good. It looks like they're passing the torch to the next generation. They're probably trying to do an iteration of the Young Avengers, is what it looks like.
Yeah.
But what I really noticed about the trailer is that they're trying to steal Bruce Willis's thunder. They are trying to make the new action Christmas Story, Die Hard, the Avengers way. Like
That's hard to do. Die Hard is unanimously the greatest Christmas movie of all time.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's Die Hard, A Christmas Story, Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe Elf in there somewhere, right?
somewhere. But Die Hard stands on its own. I mean,
That great meme where it's not Christmas until you see Hans Gruber dive off Nakatomi
That's
Plaza.
absolutely right.
A little fun fact. Actually, I watched a little behind the scenes of Die Hard. The guy that played Hans Gruber, that's really his face in fear. Hans Gruber was played by Alan Rickman, ironically, who also was in Robin Hood with Kevin Costner. He played the Sheriff of Nottingham. Okay, bring it back.
Yes. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman.
Yes.
Severus Snape, one of the
I was
greatest.
going to say,
greatest
wasn't he in
actors.
Slytherin, too?
Yeah,
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
One of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah,
God
but
bless
when
Alan
they
Rickman.
threw him out the little window down into the safe area for the stuntmen, that was his actual face of fear.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good. That's what you want to capture.
Yeah, it sold the movie really well.
Because they pushed him, and in slow-mo, you just don't see it. Someone's saying, oh shit, wait.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you get a real performance out of an actor.
Yeah, but they used to do shit like that back in the day. Like, I can't remember the movie, but
The Crow, when they actually shot him.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but
we would like to apologize
Sorry.
to Linda Lee and the entire Bruce Lee family. We are very sorry.
I don't. So
And yeah, movies like Exorcist, they would abuse the child actors to get them to get the actual shot that they wanted.
We could do a whole episode on old Hollywood. I mean, do you remember pulling the wire across to trip the horses? Oh, just shoot the ones that break their fucking legs. I mean, there's such a history of parts.
Holy
Dude,
shit.
look up how they used to do the scenes where battle scenes where they would have horses in Hollywood charging.
Right.
These are black and white films. These were John Wayne films. These are westerns that we used to love. And they're like the horses are charging, and then unanimously all the horses fall. And in the movie, they hear the gunshots and stuff. A wire was pulled across the set, and the horses were all unanimously tripped.
Oh my god!
Horses were put down due to this.
God damn, that sucks.
Because, just to reassure the fact, Hollywood before the 1950s
They were
did not
pretty
give
fucked
up.
up.
Yeah.
So that's why we always have some kind of PETA thing. No animals were harmed in the
during
making.
the making of this movie.
Right. Didn't they do the same thing in like a Disney movie where they were recording penguins in their natural habitat? And there was like a director that's like, we need more drama. So they started pushing them off of a cliff.
Well, didn't everybody complain? Everybody complained recently because the walruses killing themselves in that one nature documentary. It was like Planet Earth or something. It was streaming somewhere. It might have been on Netflix. But the walruses were like falling off cliffs, and people couldn't handle it. They were watching these walruses fall to their death. I was like, it literally happened.
It happens.
like
They're
it's
not
forced.
supposed to intercede in that.
It's nature. Some of them are kind of dumb.
Yeah. And if you really pay attention to some of those like nature Instagram pages and stuff, animals are really fucked up to each other.
Yeah.
They eat their own children most of the time. And
Bears do. Bears love themselves a good cub after hibernation.
I mean, who doesn't love a good cub, you know?
Yeah. Good cub and
I'm a
everything.
Brewers fan, so fuck that.
And we went from like we started so
well.
with
well.
Hawkeye and Christmas movies, and now we're on Cubbin.
Yeah. All right, so Ian, what about you? Anything new?
Oh man, anything new in my life? Good lord.
Would you like the sad Hulk music again?
No, I mean, I'm playing something new.
Okay.
I'm playing Tales of Asperia. It's RPG. I'm getting ready for the release of Tales of Arise, and that's why I'm.
Okay, all right.
And that's why Tales of Arise was released just recently. I think it was September 9th it came out, and there's no good JRPGs anymore. There's no good Japanese games coming out. And this is one that people are saying is good. Got IGN's praising it. They're saying it's the best JRPG in over a decade. So I'm just playing an older one, trying to gear up.
Yeah,
It's not nearly as good as the Hawkeye trailer. But
I'm with you, man. I'm playing older games right now. I'm playing Fable 2 again.
Shows
Because
the
there's
state
nothing
now.
out there
State
that's enticing. I'm waiting for the new Borderlands games series to come out.
Yeah,
Wonderland
Wonderlands.
and the Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. That's
Tiny
what it
Tina's
is.
Wonderland. Yeah, I'm waiting for that to come out. I think that's gonna be a pretty fun.
I think that's that you start to we start to show our age that we can't get everybody's like the kids are playing Fortnite and all this shit. And
Yeah,
like,
I don't care
man,
about any of those
I'm gonna break
arena
out the
shooters.
Super Nintendo and do some Mario Kart.
I was just gonna say, I think the last console I really played, I had PlayStation 2, Tiger Woods 2005.
There you go.
Oh wait.
A golf game.
All right, we need to address this golf.
We have to address
We need to address this golf.
the elephant in the room.
Yes. Matt, you had made a comment that we had said something about golf, perhaps, that maybe offended your sensibilities.
Oh, no,
So
I was just
please,
like-
clear it up. Get it off
It
your
was just
chest.
hilarious because I was like, I know you guys are setting this up, and I'm like, this is gonna be great. I know Ian. I met you guys through this when I go to record. I'm like, I love this banter, even just when we were recording that song. I can't wait for this show. Sit down on a plane, flying out to listen to the first episode. In the first 2 minutes, it's let's do top athletes and who's on your mountain and who,
right,
top
Mount
3
Rushmore.
guys. Yeah, Rushmore. Yeah, exactly. And they go, well, fuck golf. They're like, by the way, we all agree that's not a sport. Yeah, and you big unanimous. Yes, sir. Us too.
And oh man,
To which I was like,
that's such a corporate American thing to do. It's like Matt literally builds the fucking guitar riff that opens all our shows. He's woven into the fabric of the show. And the first thing we do, for those of you who don't know, he's also a golf instructor. We shit on his profession.
no, but this is perfectly America. You are entitled to your opinion, and you are great athletes yourself. And I loved hearing your opinions. I also say, you thought Sugar Ray Leonard is amazing. Did you see him try to learn golf from Hank Haney? And one of you guys picked a motor. I'm like, oh, AJ Foyt's race car. Why not him? All right, perfect. You know, I'm like, all right, fine. But you're entitled to your opinion. I just thought it was hilarious. I was like,
you're right though. But like, how many people want to see Muhammad Ali right?
Yeah, true. I want to see him do anything about right now. I mean, that would be amazing. No, in a good way. I'm saying I missed the guy.
We missed him too. Yeah. He was great.
No, I did not mean that in a bad way.
He was on my Mount Rushmore. He was on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we can shit on Brandon Lee. Just not Muhammad Ali.
Oh my God.
What about you, Ed? Anything new?
Yeah, so I played recently. I played a game, Hellblade: Senua Sacrifice. Fantastic game.
That's like the not paranormal, but kind of like the mental health sort of thing. Like
correct. So it's a dark fantasy game, and they play on aspects of psychosis. So you're intended to play with a surround sound headset because you have voices talking to you as you're playing the game.
Fuck. So, what about people that
nothing
actually
could go wrong
psychosis?
there?
Well, that's what they did. They tapped psychologists and actual people with psychosis to go over what were the symptoms and the things they had, and they put that into the game.
That's wild.
So as you're playing, you have like your inner voice, and you have a voice of someone that's doubting you, someone that's encouraging you. As you're playing, like you'll have someone that's like, you're gonna die, and others are like, behind you, and you're trying to play, and you have all kinds of shit going on, and it's all around you because it's all in surround sound, the way that they recorded it.
So you shouldn't drop ecstasy and play this on a Friday.
No.
This has gone beyond like Mario Kart where you slam a beer every stop in between laughs.
Now we're simulating psychosis.
Yeah,
fantastic.
There is a mental health warning at the beginning of the game.
Right. But most people that have mental health are probably not self-aware of the mental health.
I don't know. I'm pretty aware of it.
Yeah.
Get by.
We at least know it's there.
I'm coping.
There's a little documentary in the game that's included as well. It's actually worth watching to see what they did to try to create the game, and even the way they recorded the audio, where they had like the ASMR headphones, where it's the two microphone ears, and the people are walking around delivering the audio and all the things like that.
I love me some ASMR.
It's a
who doesn't love a good ASMR?
It's a fantastic game. Absolutely.
Fat girl eating Jello.
Playing with headphones.
Wait a second. That's what ASMR is? I'm out.
Oh no, you're in.
No, I'm out.
Oh no, you're in. No, I actually heard about that game. That game, it's got like a Nordic theme to it, right?
Yes.
It's a Viking, and she's trying to.
Yeah, you're a picked warrior. Viking is a good way to put it. But yeah, you're journeying into hell. So it gets darker as you're going along to try to save somebody's soul.
Cool.
So you're. Not only are you descending into hell, you're suffering from psychosis, and you're trying to save someone you love.
Yeah.
This sounds like a game I need to play.
Yeah, it does. It sounds pretty good.
Type of game that you finish and you're like, thank God I'm in my reality.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to escape reality to get to
Yeah, it was definitely not a game you sit for like a marathon session. I played like 2 hours. I'm like, all right, that's good for now. I need a breather.
I used to play a game when I was a kid that would push my sanity to the limits and test me as a human. It was called fucking Megaman. It was a game where you touch literally anything and you explode.
Yeah.
Not so mega, was he?
No, he was not. He was not.
Well,
you tell he was Japanese made.
Is that why he was so short?
He's up there, bud.
Zing pow.
Those 2D platformers have definitely had a resurgence in the vein of Mega Man and Metroid, especially in the indie scene.
They just made what the hell was it? Cuphead.
Yeah.
That game's like ridiculously hard.
Yeah, deliberately really hard.
Never heard of it. Interesting. I know they redid Contra as well too.
Yeah.
Just recently.
Well, Contra's coming as a mobile game now also. So all your pay to win and microtransaction goodness wrapped up in Contra.
Oh, pretty sweet.
I love those ads on my phone. Play this fucking game.
All right, Matt. What about you? Anything new in your life?
I I just got hooked on the Metallica Black List release. Have you heard about that?
No, I have not.
So it's the 30th anniversary of the Black Album by Metallica. Enter Sandman, Sad But True. And so they got together. I don't know if it was just, it started out as a marketing thing, and they approached a few artists. Apparently, they approached a lot of artists and said, would you like to cover a Metallica song? And apparently, they just had no idea. Pretty much everyone said, yeah.
That's awesome.
Because they've been so kind of influenced by it. And it's, Metallica's my favorite band. That's why I picked up guitar. So they didn't also tell any of the artists which song to cover. Because their point was, you're not going to tell Miley Cyrus, who's also, there's a lot of closet metalheads out there. Elton John's on one of them.
Yep. Wow.
Chris Stapleton
this
covers.
Sounds really good, actually.
Chris Stapleton covers
I'm gonna
Nothing
look
Else
this up
Matters.
as soon as this is over. So.
Corey Taylor.
Oh wow, Corey Taylor's so talented.
I sent you that one the other day. That was from that album. Dude, it's just that guy's voice is a cannon. Yeah. But it was great because you get some of them. Weezer was on there. They did understand it.
Weezer.
Some of them did, but they were all over the place.
Sure.
I've heard some collaborations with Metallica that are fantastic.
Yeah.
One of Moth into Flame with Lady Gaga. I thought I was gonna hate it. Loved it. Loved it. When I heard Lady Gaga was performing with.
She's talented.
Metallica.
She is.
Unreal.
She's really talented.
She's one of the better artists today.
Well, that's the funny thing about Metallica is, honestly, I mean, the further I got along in music, because when I first picked up a guitar, I was like, Kirk Hammett's the greatest guitar player ever. James Hetfield, oh my God, he's the
greatest underbite.
He cannot sing. He's not a good singer, right. And Kirk Hammett is not a great guitarist. But they write the best songs in metal. Sad But True. Yeah, I mean,
Wolf and Man. Great songs,
dude. They're amazing. Awesome. So to hear these artists now, there's a lot of them where they just went, I'm gonna do just the way it is on the album.
Right.
But some of them went. So there was a Sam. I don't even know who Sam Fender is. Do you know who Sam Fender is? No. He takes Sad But True, and he makes it this sad ballad that I was like, and then I heard the lyrics for the first time. That I went, holy shit! I'm your dream, make you real. Yeah. I'm your eyes when you. But he does it with this beautiful sad voice, and I'm like, holy man, it's unreal.
But that's the thing about music, right? And comedy and art. As an art form, I guess, in general, people interpret it their own way. They listen to a song differently. They watch a comedy's act, and they pick up on different things that are funny to them that may not be funny to you. So it's great when people interpret things differently, and then you see it from a different perspective.
Different artists interpreting art. You take the lyrics of one song, and then when it's portrayed through the style of a different artist, it becomes something sometimes better than what we originally got. And that's
Jhonny Cash is hurt.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He did a 9 Inch Nails song, which was
a cover that became
fantastic. One of the most heartfelt performances ever. Yeah. And you want to talk about another guy that like almost like James Hetfield. Not Jhonny Cash wasn't necessarily a great singer. Mm-hmm. He wasn't gifted with a great voice. It was the uniqueness to it. Yeah. It was the guttural, the rawness,
the conviction,
his lyrics, and like the Folsom Prison, his whole thing, you just felt it.
Yeah. Delia,
he wasn't.
You know that song?
Yeah, he wasn't.
That's a metal song.
Dude, Jhonny Cash was no bullshit. He was no bullshit. He was singing. I mean, in a time when you didn't sing about what he sang about, he was singing about cocaine and problems and.
I like the song "Man in Black."
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to the lyrics of that, and you think of the time and place where he put that song out. That's everything that people started doing 20 years later socially. That shit's kind of fucked up. Well, yeah, this man was singing about that way
before.
Right.
Yeah. And it just goes to show you that societally, we don't really change that much.
No.
When you listen to older music and new music, it may be done differently, but altogether the messages still resonate, at least when it's a great song.
You can hear music with languages you don't even speak.
Yeah.
And things from different times where you still can get a feeling from it. Sad But True, one of my favorite renditions of it is by a Mongolian band, The Who.
What? You know what?
The Who. The Who covered "Sad but True."
You can't see my surprised face at all here
oh,
right
dude.
now. But that's so Ian. This Mongolian
band. Yes.
The throat singing.
Mongolian guttural
dude.
dude.
The two of them listen to the strangest workout
Listen,
music.
yeah.
If you work out with me, you're fucking stepping into a Valhalla
Yes.
Scandinavian training facility.
They got a song with Papa Roach. It's a badass
Wolf
song.
Totem.
Yes.
Oh my god. I will beat a man to death. This is
I like
awesome.
when Biggie Smalls redid that. Wolf Totem. Oh yeah, it was great.
It was weird hearing Jacoby from Papa Roach. Like, it was weird hearing him like translating the Mongolian lyrics, because like they're talking about like elephant caravans and like it's such a different society.
It is about as Mongolian in lyrics as you're going to get.
Right, and we all know what Mongolian life is like.
Oh, absolutely. The northern steppes
Genghis
above
Khan.
China.
Come on, man.
I've seen Mulan.
Wow.
Actually, you know what?
He was a Hun. First of all, he was a Hun.
Oh, shoot.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Bad
go.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Or The Night at the Museum. That's
Yeah.
One or the other. I don't know.
Marco Polo.
Fine.
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo was a good
That
Netflix
was a
show.
great show. Okay.
And that was Genghis Khan's grandson.
Yes, and
Kublai.
it's bullshit that they took that off the air.
It is bullshit.
Yeah, because that was a great show. I'm so mad about
early
that.
early Netflix Marco Polo. Is
I'm
fantastic.
taking notes as I go. Mongolian band, Marco Polo.
This is when the structure
Fish
of the show
out of the water.
just
No.
out the water.
Obliterate. Yeah.
Well, another good cover. It's a dark song and it's cryptic and it gives you all kinds of weird vibes. But Simon and Garfunkel, "Sound of Silence."
Oh
but
my
Disturbed's
God.
Disturbed's cover of it. David
So
Raymond's voice
I never
applied
heard
to that.
What?
That's the next cover you need to hear.
All right.
No,
The "Sound of Silence."
I'm
by
pretty
Disturbed.
sure you have actually heard it. You might not just be thinking
The
about it.
range of that guy.
Yeah.
So Simon
Corey Taylor,
Garfunkel,
just
which
talking about-
I would
yeah.
say is one of the greatest songs ever written, and there's two guys harmonizing that make it sound amazing. He starts down here like a hello darkness, like it's way down there.
Right.
To like work your way up through the scale and crescendo at the metal, like
Oh, so is that the song "Hello Darkness"?
Yes.
and
Okay,
I
yeah, know the
thought
song. Okay, yeah,
when I was listening to it, I go, okay, this is Disturbed. At some point,
Yo, what the fuck, dude?
nailed it.
Thank you.
I thought they were
just
gonna
thought it was-
sully this song by kicking into metal, and they don't.
Never
They
do.
let it be orchestral like the whole time, and it doesn't. Then it doesn't overshadow his voice. It like he is amazing.
To
Amazing.
listen to the song and hear it's the
I got
same guy,
goosebumps.
the same guy that
those.
the same guy that growls down with the sickness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you hear him do this. It's unbelievable his talent.
They also they have a cover on every album. Every album they always have at least one.
Right.
Phil Collins.
Yes.
Confusion.
Yeah.
But now listen, there are some crossovers that are not so good too, though. Because
Okay.
I've heard some crossovers like, because me predominantly I grew up listening to hip hop, and it wasn't actually until I listened to Metallica's "Enter the Sandman" that like even everybody in Brooklyn was just like, we're hardcore like Biggie Smalls, Jay-Z, Nas,
But you
and we're
gotta
like, yo, "Enter the Sandman's kind of
Yeah.
deep, bro."
I was the same way.
It was one of those songs that hit, and it was just like it's undeniable. That's a great song. This is a sick band. And the video was even
Metallica.
amazing
yeah.
too. I think it hit MTV. It was like one of the first videos that was like
The little
super
kid in the
popular.
bed on the highway.
Come on.
Yeah, by the
Fucking
semi
18
truck
wheeler.
and roll.
Yeah. Okay. Let's make that music video today. Let's try.
so-
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, even better is One.
One,
Have you
yes.
seen One's video?
Yeah.
And the best is God, who's the guy for sings for Skid Row?
Oh my God.
Sebastian Bach.
Yep.
So he was doing the metal show when that premiered on MTV. And it's like, if you haven't seen the video for One, go check it out. It's about, it was based off Johnny's Got His Gun, an old black and white movie where this guy goes to war and he ends up getting like all his limbs blown off. He's now deaf and blind, so he can't talk to anyone. He's getting no feedback. He knows he's alive, but he's trapped in his own body.
So it's a super happy
So they show this,
video.
and he ends up like tapping his head to like Morse code, and they're like, "What's he saying? Kill me, kill me," over and over. Dude, it's deep as shit, and they put sound clips in the middle of it. The best is when that video premiered, it ends, it fades to black, and they come back to Sebastian Bach, and he goes, "Well, wasn't that just a bowl full of rainbows?"
Well, it's kind of like, what was that song? I Smacked My Bitch Up?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
and you're watching it,
By
and you're like,
Prodigy?
oh my God,
Prodigy
this
Smacked My
is, there's
Bitch Up.
abuse going on here. There was
Yeah.
a woman beating up another woman,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
At the
good
end
stuff.
of it. It was like,
Good stuff.
this is
Good
crazy.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but back to like
Pearl Jam.
fucked up,
Remember Pearl
fucked
Jam?
up shit.
What is it, Jeremy?
Jeremy by
Yeah,
Pearl Jam.
Jeremy.
Oh, man.
Literally a music video about a school shooting.
Oh, yeah.
It's filmed. It's
No, that was the first. What is that? What is that freeze
Broken.
challenge? What was that? Do you remember that? What do they call it? The freeze challenge, where everyone goes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of the video is the first one ever done,
Was
where the
Jer-
whole classroom
was-
is like this, and you see blood spattering on the kid.
Was Jeremy the
we-
first ever use of bullet time?
Yeah.
In Matrix? No.
Oh.
Oh,
No,
need
they
to watch
just had
this
everyone
music
stand.
They
still.
didn't. They didn't rotate, right? Okay,
No, there
good.
was
No, they're
Yeah.
moving around the room,
Yeah.
but they're all. I'm sure
Frozen.
it's pretty. Yeah,
We need
it's
to do a comparison.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Now I'm gonna get this out real quick.
Oh
It
God.
was a song I heard with Kenny Rodgers, okay, and a rapper by the name of Pharoah Monch.
They shouldn't have even gotten that out.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Okay, if you haven't,
I'm
it
gonna
is
check
so
that out.
bad. It's
Farrell.
Farrell.
like Pharoah Monch and Kenny Rodgers know how to. Is it Know When to Hold 'Em? What's that?
The Gambler.
Yeah.
The Gambler.
Yeah,
The
they-
Gambler
They
is
did
one of
a
the greatest
remake,
songs ever. Yeah.
and it was just like Kenny Rodgers just starting. It's kind of got a hip hop vibe to it, and then they drop like a dun 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 dun, and I'm
fucks
like,
it up.
oh fuck, this is
fucks it up.
so bad. I can't listen to it. I actually stopped listening to both of their music after that song
You
because I was
gotta
like,
know
I can't.
when to hold.
Well,
Know
it's all
when to
right.
fold.
This brings up a thought that I often have, and the fact that I've heard about two guys like kind of connecting on Mongolian bands. You've
Yes.
heard, this song, and your influences, and it's funny that I didn't know until I walked in and saw the Wu-Tang Clan post, on the wall, where I'm like, hell yeah! I mean, in high school, that's one of my biggest things, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You like
My boy Freddie.
you like KRS One? Oh, I got.
Oh yeah, of course. KRS
Dude.
One was one of the most influential hip
Oh,
hop people
my God.
in New York.
So right, and it's interesting to hear that. Like, I Got Next, that album, and he's got a song on there that's like, you just hear the bass roll in, just slowly fade, and all of a sudden he just starts telling a story about being a drug dealer in New York. Now, not glorifying it.
No.
It's all his just internal thoughts as he tells this story and all this, and he does it so clearly with all these words that. And then it just ends with, and there's plot twists and
Yes.
stuff. It's one of the best things I've ever heard. Now, the funny thing is, it's cool that you know that. You might not know that. You might not. One of my big pet peeves, I'm going to get to my point. It's funny that I'm sick and tired of people music shaming people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you don't know that, and especially with me, like, if I'm on stage and they'll walk up and I'm like, they're like, Steely Dan. And I'm like, I don't know any. What? You don't know any Steely Dan? I'm like, I'm sorry. I just hit the Allman Brothers and stopped.
Right,
I hit a wall. But people are so. It's cool that they have all this passion about certain music and it hits them. But I just, it's a pet peeve of mine when, if you haven't, I go look at it as a positive experience.
Yeah.
Go, oh, you should check it out, instead of going, oh my God, you idiot! I
Yeah.
cannot believe you haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm
No,
done talking to you.
What do you mean we don't have the same feelings and emotions? What?
Yeah, I know.
No, but you're absolutely right, because it just gives you an opportunity to dive into something new and
Right.
learn something new, or maybe even appreciate something new when you go and you listen to it. I love
And
when
there's so much music, you can't plausibly get all of it
Exactly.
in. There's not enough time in the day
Exactly.
to hear everything, especially this day and age, where
Yeah.
anyone can release it themselves.
And if there's there are people who are consumers of music, but I'm like, I don't buy. If it really hits you, you're gonna hear it again and again. I'm gonna keep going back to it, and that prevents me time of discovering new music.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, music is something that affects everybody, and it's like we have our favorite genres.
Sure.
But like I, for one, can listen to a lot of different shit depending on the situation. Like if I'm drinking beer with my friends, it's a sunny day, we're all outside grilling, I'll put country on.
Right.
Is country my favorite genre? No. But I have artists that I like to listen to. Josh Turner, Darius Rucker. There's guys Kenny Chesney. There's dudes that it's a feel good time when it's on.
Sure.
Generally, I'm pretty angry person as I go throughout the day. So metal speaks to me. Like literally Metallica. I'm glad you brought them up. Metallica, I would consider them probably the greatest heavy metal band of all time. Everybody gives Black Sabbath their due as being arguably the first, and there are other great heavy metal bands, but Metallica got me into metal.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been Enter Sandman. Yeah. It might have been that.
I think Metallica got me into rock as a whole.
Did you?
Into metal, rock, all of that. It opened my horizons to new music other than hip hop at the time. And
my two workout musics are hip hop and heavy metal. Like if I'm moving heavy weight, if I'm just moving heavy metal weight, I want something angry. I want fucking Lamb of God blaring, and I want to just imagine just taking a hatchet and slamming it into someone's face on a battlefield in Norway.
That's Tuesday's workout, Ian.
Yeah, I feel the same way when I go to the bathroom. I'm like, I need some heavy music to lift this shit right now.
Let the beat drop.
Exactly. If someone's holding mitts for me, or if I'm doing heavy bag workout, I don't want something necessarily heavy that's dun 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 dun. I want something with rhythm.
Sure.
I'll put on Immortal Technique. I'll put on Nas. I'll put on DMX. I want something with a beat that I can move to. Yes. Wu-Tang is great. Bag drills. Wu-Tang is fantastic.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, rest in peace, X. I felt that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Woodstock 99. Yeah. I wasn't there, obviously, because I'm still alive.
But I think we've all had influences with different kinds of music throughout our life. I know another huge influence for me was Nirvana. Oh, yeah. Nirvana, like Kurt Cobain, like his music spoke to me in a weird way. Like, and again, like even at the time, I was like,
not from Seattle. They started the Seattle music scene.
I was truly a hip hop head and just getting new influences into different genres. And Kurt Cobain, Smells Like Teen Spirit, the video, the song,
it was everywhere.
Like that shit was hard. It was so good.
The grunge thing, like it's like I really didn't get into it that much. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's because I don't know.
You have a man bun. What do you mean?
Exactly. And
what do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe
that's because of Sting.
Maybe maybe I'm a little too positive, and I never tried heroin. I'm sorry. I missed the whole grunge thing. But, Nirvana, I still have to recognize Kurt Cobain. He was a fantastic singer, great vocalist, and he you could put him as the poster child for the whole grunge movement. Right. He wasn't my favorite grunge band. My favorite grunge band was Bush with Gavin Rossdale. Yeah. I loved Bush more from that genre of music, but I still have to tip my head, and Kurt was a great artist, but he was struggling. Yeah. I mean, you could feel it. And it was because Courtney Love is a succubus, but it's whatever, I mean,
I always sense too that if he had actually lived another 10 years, I think that they would have struggled to the 3-chord simpleness of the songs
to keep progressing.
I mean, it's sad, but it was almost better that it's just like, oh, that was put in a glass box. Not saying it's better that he passed away. Just clear. I'm just saying that they couldn't make any more music.
Right.
Then it couldn't fade out and not lose its luster, or watch them try to do something different, which they already did.
Yeah. Well, I think they made the same argument when they discussed like Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Right. They said that Jimi Hendrix like peaked. He was a genius on the guitar and with his music, but when you listen to his stuff, I don't think he was as I think he could have progressed. I think he was one of those artists that if he stayed alive longer, he would have grown with the music.
Bill Burr makes an excellent argument about like differentiating who's super great by like who was the trailblazer, who did it first, as opposed to who picked up the reins and did it well.
Right.
He made that argument with Kobe and Michael Jordan. Like, okay, Kobe's a great basketball player. He does all this shit well, but look at who did it. Who's the first?
The person that proves it can be done.
Who's the first person that unanimous was like, when Michael Jordan was playing, no one guessed who the best player in the world was.
He just was.
I noticed that no one pulled up this morning in a Model T Ford. No. I noticed. Right. And it was cool that was the first, but no. I mean, someone did it better.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But like, okay, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Excellent guitar player.
Jimi Hendrix clone.
Yes, was better.
I
mean, no one did what Jimmy did when he did it.
Right.
I mean, he was a victim of being maybe like a black artist early on, but the things he did with the guitar up until that point had never been done. They were never done.
But that's what it was. His music was so undeniable. It didn't matter at the time. Race, creed, whatever. Right. It was just like everybody's like, "Holy shit!"
And I will never disrespect like Stevie Ray Vaughan, excellent guitar player, and like the same reason like Elvis, amazing vocalist and great. People always accuse him of stealing off certain artists, but still, he's Elvis Presley.
He was influenced by other people, Like,
sorry, keep disappearing.
Instinct.
I need you.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
I like that. Hey, the Matt was coming at me for a while. There was a Model T. I was like, Jesus Christ. He's turning into something.
Yeah, yeah,
My nipples got hard.
I seen you start sweating. Really, I was like, oh, shit. Must combat this.
I was like, Jimi Hendrix.
Sadly, I was alive when the Model T came out.
It's all right.
Oh, no, you didn't have to tell us that. We,
okay.
we knew. Horse and buggy all the way.
Crank was a bitch.
So what about you? What musical influences would you say, impact your life the most?
I'm at this stage. The weird thing is, because I started playing music in bars and places that are trying to entertain people, it's been a weird circle where I used to listen to all the music that I love only. And then, but I've learned that there's something to, and I hate this song, but if you start, you are my fire, and you see an entire bar like light up, and all the women light up, and the guys who are with them, oh, my girl's happy now, I'm happy, all right. And I like those experiences. I don't really like that song, but that's the thing, is like you gotta find
a crowd that you gotta play for.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're saying your biggest influences are boy bands?
Yeah.
No, we got it.
It's
you
come
just
full
had to
circle.
Say, boy bands.
JT hit me up.
So K-pop, right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Let's talk about that McDonald's meal.
The BTS meal.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
All they added was some sauce. I was like a big deal.
Dude,
and one of them was fucking terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I had to have my daughters explain to me what she orders that. I'm like, what is BTS? I'm like, and then I'm like, she's like, oh, it's this. I'm like, and what is BTS? I don't even. Okay, so that's a meal. No, it's a group. Is it a meal or a group? Yeah. No, it has sauce. Oh, okay, well I'm down with sauce.
But isn't it crazy though? To me, that's kind of outrageous. Like the Korean pop scene, how it like came into America. It went all over the world. They were huge.
Yeah,
they were undeniable. I tried listening to some of their songs. I didn't.
Well, Korea, what they're trying to do is they're trying to be what America is for the rest of the world, exporting
music or goods,
TV, movies, our kind of art that we export to the rest of the world. Korea's trying to do that with the Asian countries. Okay. So they're trying to mimic what we've become for everyone else, where our ideas are going out. They're doing that themselves.
That's a little known fact. Like everybody, because of the influence of like video games, anime, technology, everyone gives Japan this highlight in Asia. Right. And everybody would assume that out of all the countries, like, oh, Japan is closest to the United States. Culturally and like the way they run things, they're actually more different. The most similar to us is South Korea. Mm-hmm. South Korea. If you flew from Florida to Seoul, South Korea, you would notice very little differences.
Yeah.
Like
minus the language. Yeah.
No, listen.
They're one of our biggest, arguably our biggest ally in Asia is South Korea.
Yeah. I did a deep dive when I started finding out about BTS, and it wasn't that I didn't hate their music, didn't like their music. It just wasn't for me. I was still interested in the fact that so many people really liked it. They liked their performing, their music and stuff. There's Korean hip-hop artists that are really, really good. I don't understand what they're saying, but this shit looks hard.
Do you know what else they're really good at?
StarCraft?
Golf. Well, that's actually where I knew a lot of.
We came full circle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, now I don't like them. So.
That's actually where I met a lot of Koreans and hung out, and they try to teach me a lot of the language. They're the nicest people.
Sure.
I mean, on average, obviously, there's always assholes every once in a while, but like on average, I mean, that's a great culture. It's great people.
To take a little historical like thing here, I was actually surprised by how many Koreans helped us out during the Vietnam War, and I was wrong about this. Like when I actually looked it up, the South Koreans had more people on the ground in the early stages of the war than we did. Like, they literally came over and helped us out so much, and you never hear about it. You think of the Vietnam War, you hear CCR playing, the helicopter, and it's a bunch of us over there, you know?
Right,
it's Robert Duvall, I smell napalm in the morning. And that's what you think of. If you ask guys that were there, like if you talk to actual guys that were on the ground, and you ask them who were the baddest motherfuckers in the jungle, like during that time that had our back, they'll say South Korean Tiger Troops. Wow. They were bad. Like, they were Korean War veterans. They had helped us out over there, and now they're on our side. Sure. They're assisting us.
Unfortunately, it's not a big surprise because that happens with every war. I mean, there was historically, the black pilots that you heard nothing about for 50 years. Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah. Yep. When you're talking about NASA, you had a lot of the calculators, which were actually the people that did the math.
I forget the woman's name. They named the building.
Were women in particular. It was a group of black women.
Yeah. Also, the Vulcans. When we were fighting the Klingon Empire,
I was actually going somewhere important. In every American war,
we did not just make a minority to fucking Vulcan reference.
That was the best guy. I was going somewhere important.
Yeah,
carry on.
I was leaning into.
I have to interrupt their serious job.
Continue it.
Puerto Rico has been in every American war. But we're not mentioned at all in any of that.
Listen,
but
you say Puerto Rico is the Canada of World War II.
Essentially, but they, just like all the other troops, they never get mentioned. But Puerto Rico directly has had troops in every American war.
When I served in...
I didn't know that. I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you. I didn't know that either.
When I 99, 2000, the bulk of the people that I seen serving, I will tell you, in Fort Benning, Georgia, in my particular infantry, were Latin and white men, and we got along extremely well.
Oh, there's no racism in the military.
How well?
No, but what I'm saying is there was a huge Latin influence in the service, and then when I go to my daughter and I see her academy, it's a larger mix of people now. But a lot of people get forgotten, I think, in the stories.
The big picture.
Told. Yeah, in the big picture.
Well, it's how it's painted. It's like when you go to church and you see old blonde hair, blue-eyed European Jesus up there, and you go, look at him, he's perfect. Look at him up there.
You mean they read the book, saw curly hair like wool, and skin color of bronze, and they went. White hair, blue eyes.
That's right. The only no wonder he was so popular. The only white guy in the Middle East. Look at him up there. Old Jason Christ up there.
Have you ever seen the different versions as they sold? I mean, there's just if they went to different places. Yeah, he's been.
And I think
that's just in different ways, so they can associate better with.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. I went down a historical rabbit hole with that because I remember I was like, oh my god, there were so many Koreans helping us out, and I was like, that's why they're our biggest ally. Then I was like, oh, that's why the DMZ's over there. That's why so much tension with North Korea. And then I saw a YouTube comment that changed my life. YouTube comment, which is you get the best information in the world.
Always.
If it's on the internet, it's true.
It said, oh, this explains the rooftop Korean situation during the 1990 LA riots, and I was like. Fuck is a rooftop Korean? 34 years I've never heard this term. Never heard the fucking term. No, you've heard it?
Yeah.
I never fucking knew this.
That was during the LA riots.
They're
the badasses who just defended their places.
Yeah,
exactly.
I go down this rabbit hole and I find out that during the Rodney King riots during the 1990s, when they burnt down LA, whether you're for or against, that's a whole separate issue.
Right.
But when the neighborhoods were being destroyed, the Koreans, a lot of them were veterans from either Vietnam or Korea that had come here after the war to start their own business in Koreatown
after
in LA.
Serving.
Yeah, and they gave no fucks. When you came to their neighborhood to burn down, they banded together. They were on their roof of their stores with Uzis. They had got gunfights in the streets, literally just shooting across the streets because the cops wouldn't help.
Damn. Yep.
Like they said, when the rioting started and the looting started in their neighborhood, they watched the police leave.
Yeah,
and they interviewed the one dude. I'm trying to think of his name, but they called him for a gunfight. His friend called him, said they're breaking into my store, and you can watch a whole video, an interview.
I didn't know that one.
Dude,
that's pretty crazy.
He had a gun, and he remembers being shot at, and you can watch the footage. He puts his hands up like this, and then he thought to himself, "What am I doing? I'm being shot at." So he literally, you watch him change. He just goes from a person who's afraid and confused to putting his hands down, turning, and then he just starts walking across the street and firing his gun.
Jesus,
They banded together. It was an amazing thing to see a subculture of people, just hardworking people, trying to make it that took no shit. They're like, we don't care who you are. We understand you guys have problems, but this isn't right.
Yeah, you're in the wrong neighborhood.
We didn't do that. Yeah, you're in the wrong neighborhood. We didn't do this.
That reminds me, actually, I was in the movies the other day, and they're bringing back the West Side Story.
Oh, what?
What?
Are they all Korean?
West Side! Good story.
It looks really good.
Is it a musical?
Honestly, as much as I love music, I hate musicals.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that was the other element of that trailer that we, you were talking about. Yeah, the Hawkeye trailer. I'm like, it was not only just the Christmas element.
Yeah.
I mean, was there multiple scenes where it looks like a musical?
Oh,
is it a musical?
There is a captain. a Steve Rodgers
musical
that's going on in the MCU universe.
Oh my god!
Oh,
So
no.
it actually happened in real life and it failed horribly.
Of course it did.
But it's like a little thing they put into the show was the Steve Rodgers musical.
Please make this a thing, Disney.
No, I don't want to see any musicals.
Nelson's very excited for it.
No, I hate them. Like back in the day, like Jerry Lewis musicals was where I draw the line. I was like, they're entertaining.
Did you ever see Indian movies?
No,
Never sat through those.
They're basically musicals.
They're all
You mean Bollywood?
Bollywood.
Yeah, Bollywood. They're all 4 hours long, and there is not one that is made that doesn't include song and dance.
A proper dance number.
Every
really sat
single
through one.
movie.
Expect
It's also very
catchy.
catchy.
Expect the dance number in the Eternals.
What?
They have an Indian character in
He's
the
an
Eternals.
alien. He's an alien. He's a fucking alien.
A legal alien.
He's bringing the
dance in my
dance.
Marvel movies.
He's bringing Bollywood dance. It's in the trailer. Have you not
there you
seen
go.
the trailer?
No,
I mean,
I gloss over when I see dance numbers.
Yes. Not to side with my white friend to the left, but he is correct. He came here. How did he take the proper avenues to come here? How did the Eternals get here? And while we're at it, Superman, I got my eye on you. Huh?
Yeah, that's right, buddy. We're watching you.
You crashed here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So you save us.
Since
Fuck
when?
outta here.
I don't care if you work as a reporter. Since when is that legal? I don't know.
Is it a metaphor that the kryptonite is green, like a green card for Superman? What the fuck is going on here?
That's his weakness.
I'm gonna have to, I can't get the green. No, that'll make me weak.
Stop it.
I see what's happening here. I'm gonna have to talk to Lex Luthor on that.
I see him like sliding down the couch. He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I was actually.
Tell us where you work, man.
What if after all these years they gave Superman an accent and he's like, "Fool you! I'm not from here."
Actually,
laser eyes, man.
I would love it even more. I really would.
The white guy accent was like this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Clark Juarez, yes.
Clark Juarez.
He was not adopted by the Kents. The people that worked on the Kent farm took him in.
Oh shit! They actually tried that, but it was Russia.
He was
made
Russian.
A Soviet version of the Justice League.
It's what the hell is it? It's Superman Red Sun.
Yes, the Red Sun. Yeah, where he landed in Russia.
He fights for the other side of the Cold War. It's bad.
It's pretty dope actually. It's a really cool version of it. Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, it is.
Or the Flashpoint paradox, where he grew up in a government lab and he's all emaciated.
Oh,
it's so
yeah,
bad. There's so many dark lines in comics that are.
Nobody that grows up in a lab is ever put together.
They're never good. It's the no human interaction.
I've had a pretty decent experience.
Yeah. Test tube baby.
Yeah.
Extra hair.
There's lots
Sorry,
of,
Mom. I was just kidding.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
There's lots of butt play when you grow up in a lab.
Now I'm definitely sorry, Mom. That was Ian.
That was Ian.
That's what I'm about.
Shit.
I can't believe you hate musicals, man. There's some good music. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's some that are like,
Yeah,
not that good. But like a Muppet Christmas Carol, Les Miserables, Sweeney Todd. Like,
I can't sit through them.
The name is The Miserables.
You
I
started
have no
with
reason
a
to watch
Muppet
it.
Christmas.
Because that's the bar set at its highest.
A
A
Muppet
Yeah, you might as well work your way
I'm
down.
gonna be real with you. I'm gonna hit you with some realness, and I don't know if you guys are ready for it.
All right, we're
A
ready.
Muppet Christmas Carol is the pinnacle of Christmas.
Oh
Carol.
yeah, dude. We're Marley and Marley. Oh, that is the catchiest shit
It's
ever.
the best shit
Oh
ever.
my god. All right.
I
take it
annoyed
back. I take
my
it back.
kids immensely with
I
that.
can't argue with the Muppet Christmas, but
You
let's
can't.
get rid of that. And then what's the one with?
Sir Michael Caine is Scrooge. It's amazing. The whole thing is amazing.
I agree.
I guess like Chicago. I watched it for all of 30 seconds, and I
Don't
love
care.
Queen Latifah.
Never
She came out on the
seen
scene.
Wait,
and I'm
Chicago.
like,
all
fuck
right.
this
Have
shit.
you gone to musical like live?
Now that
Because
I
that's
like.
where it's
I like live
supposed to be,
performances.
and
I
they're
like-
adapting it
yeah.
to television.
In New York, yes,
But I saw
it's
Wicked,
almost
and it was
mandatory.
I
unreal.
enjoy a
Broadway.
good live performance.
I saw School of Rock
Can't
when
do
it was over here. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The movie was all right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I liked the movie, but I mean,
Tenacious
like,
D
you go
was my
see
favorite
it
Jack
live,
Black
it's just
musical.
totally
Was
different.
Jack Black
Tenacious
there?
D. Tenacious D. I
He
think
was
that's
not.
it.
Well, he was my date.
He was.
He didn't show. It was
Yeah,
weird.
no, like I only like Jack Black in like Kung Fu Panda or.
Found out it
Nacho
was
Libre.
Jacques Black. It wasn't even him.
Yeah, when'd you find out when he was a Jacques Black?
Might have been a better time.
Yeah, growing up in New York, you got to see musicals in Broadway. That was a standard thing. Like once a year, you got shipped out on the bus and you got to go see something.
I will say, live performances, I love them.
Yeah, live in person, it's a completely different thing.
But for whatever reason,
the same
when
thing
I sit
with
down
baseball.
and watch a movie, I can't.
I've been to a baseball game live. It was entertaining. I've watched one on TV. Guaranteed to fall asleep.
Well, it's almost like going, hey, check out this new song, and you just pull out your iPhone, not connected to a speaker. You just pull it out, and it's not going to be the experience.
You
mean go to it live? If you went to Broadway,
the tinny goodness of your phone?
No, you got to stick it in the bowl.
Show the depth of the song.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is an art form to live performers that some of them really nail it, and some of them don't. Because like on a hip hop level, I like my hip hop more. Like listening to it from downloadable content or a CD or something like that, versus I like live performances for like rock, alternative music, I even Latin music.
So you liked Hamilton?
I did actually. I did like Hamilton, but I will never watch it again. Sat through it the one time. I enjoyed it for what it was. No, but I was gonna say like Mac Miller. For me, like when I listen to Mac Miller, his live performances are fucking insane. He was another one of those Kurt Cobain-esque kind of a characters. He was deeply sad when you listen to him play.
Did he figure out to not to see? I kind of left listening. My first concert was Cypress Hill and the House of Blues Smoke and Grooves tour with George Clinton and Erykah Badu. Yeah. My friend got hit in the face by a book of stickers that did not separate. Oh. You know that? Pew! He was like, I'm like rocking out to Cypress Hill. I'm like, insane in the brain. All right, here we go. I look over. He's just like, bleeding out his forehead. It was metal as hell. Anyway, but
Cypress Hill, one of those groups.
Oh, they're
like that. They're hip hop metal.
But
my first concert was Lamb of God. I got kicked in the face with steel toe boots.
Oh, sounds
that explains a lot.
Wherever you are, sir.
Wow, yeah.
You got that one. You won that one.
But you were saying.
What did he look like? All right.
Sitting right there.
Yeah, there you go. So, but the older hip hop, I feel like they made the mistake, and I got sick of it, where you'd have 8 of your boys on stage, like, accenting every last word of the sentence. I'm like, just shut up. Let that guy perform, and then let that guy perform. Yeah.
Yes.
But they'd have, like, tons of guys, like, and guys you didn't know. They weren't in the band. They were just their friends from wherever they were. And you're like,
the art of the hype man.
Yeah,
who does that skit? I think it's Hannibal Buress. He says like,
yes,
that's the only fucking profession.
Dicky.
Yeah,
Little Dicky's album.
Only profession where you can have a hype man. He's like, if you went into your dentist's office and there's all these fucking guys just chilling, like smoking up, and like, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, the dentist would be like, here, lay in the bed. I'm gonna clean your teeth, and he'd be like, well, what the fuck? Like,
why are these guys here?
They're my hype men. Like, no. Like he'd be drilling. He'd be like, yeah, drill that motherfucking molar. Like, yeah, like fly here, rinse, spit. Like, I mean,
yes. But with the exception of like a Wu-Tang Clan, right? Because they are there. And they're all individually rapping, right? They're doing their thing. But when you have that hype man, no, Mac Miller, he did it differently. He has a live band, and he's doing his whole performance. Nas does that as well. He's up there. He's the performer, and he's another storyteller.
So they read their reviews on Yelp.
They did.
Okay. And they figured that out. That didn't work.
Or Bone Thugs and Harmony.
But like
Bone Thugs and Harmony is another one where everybody did something and it sounded great.
But like even going into like the newer hip hop. A lot of it.
There's new hip hop.
There.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, you're good. Because I was just gonna agree with that. Like mumble rappers. There's some of them that I don't like at all, and there's some of it where I could see like, okay, I understand you're trying something new, but you all kind of sound the same. I grew up where individuality was most important. This rapper didn't want to sound like this rapper. This musician didn't want to sound like this musician. They wanted their own voice. They wanted their own sound, and that's what made me appreciate the artistry.
If you listen to early rap, you can still differentiate people, and that's the one thing that doesn't like mumble rap. The whole term, like it just doesn't resonate with me.
Right.
Not one artist. Not one weird I mean, the only one that I even gave a chance was that Super Freak, Tekashi 6.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Just because of how ridiculous he is. I was
just because of his haircut.
Exactly. Yes. I said, which one of these colorful idiots am I going to focus on today? And I saw this fucking guy with Skittles in his teeth.
That one right
like,
there.
All right, this one. And I think I cut my grass. I cut my grass, put him on Spotify, started cutting my grass. I hit every goddamn root. I think I hit every goddamn root in my yard and broke my nose. Like I just went full, stupid.
I think some of it though is just like other genres of music. The industry has gotten into it, and they want to make sales. So they go, Who's the guy making sales? Him. Right. We want someone that sounds like him. And people are more than willing to line up for a paycheck, even if they got to sound like that other guy, to get in until they could attempt 3 albums down the line. Maybe they could do something different.
Yeah. But that's why when you listen to, I think, older music, it still resonates now because they were in it for the art of it. They were making music that maybe they loved more, and they were putting it out there for the world to enjoy. And newer artists, some of them, not all of them. You can't categorize everybody that way, but newer artists, I think, are the paycheck. You can't blame them, but it's like, are you making something that I'll listen to in 10 years?
There's a story Chester Bennington told once where he was, talk about the factory that is music. Yep. They were kind of getting a foothold and kind of changing and had their own genre in a way, and had their own sound. And he was in the recording studio also at the same time Evanescence was there. And they were recording their first album, and I guess Amy Lee was in the hallway, and she was like crying, and he came across her and he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, they're literally, she's like, "They're trying to make us sound like you." And he goes, and he's like, "Well, you got to tell them if this is not the music you want to do, blah, blah, blah." And he thought he had her kind of convinced, and he was like, "I was really disappointed when I heard that first song that
with
it's
the
very
12
much
Stones feature."
Yeah.
Where those fucking guys go.
And so that was
illustrious career. Goodbye.
Yeah. Exactly.
Man, I'd love to be a one-hit wonder.
It wasn't even.
Who let the dogs out?
It wasn't even
knocked down. But I get up again.
It wasn't even one hit. It was
fucking
like
Chumbawamba.
It was like 3 sentences on somebody else's album, and then they faded away.
Yeah.
At least if it was their album and their whole song, then you could say hit. Their biggest thing is a feature on somebody else's album before they faded off.
How you gonna do Uncle Cracker like that?
Yeah. All right, so we've done this before. A time capsule, right? Ian explains it best.
Okay. All right. So basically, we take a time capsule, and whatever subject is, you need to send this capsule 30 years into the future. And depending on the subject, like one time we did TV shows, one time we did movies, we did anime. Yeah. You have to put one of whatever we say into the capsule that you're going to send 30. It has to be one.
Just
that you're going to send 30 years into the future to try to explain to that culture in that time.
Baby Yoda.
So one band.
Like the band? Like the people?
No, yeah, one group.
They're gonna open up a fucking time capsule full of festering corpses.
We're here for it.
Maybe not the actual people.
Okay.
All right, one group,
Fallout
one
experiment.
artist,
one entire anthology of music artwork.
Yes, by that group.
Okay, yeah.
Who would you?
I got
pick?
mine.
All right, go for it.
Disturbed.
Disturbed.
You go from very heavy metal, hard rock. They also have covers of other songs that are much more melodic. They've kind of orchestrated kind of that more melodic metal hard rock sound as well. So they kind of brought in that thing, and they have a discography that's quite varied.
Okay, all right. What about you, Matt?
They did prove themselves. Like it really progressed their talent like through the years.
I mean, they got pretty well shafted when they first came out. When they first came out, they were supposed to do a tour in Europe at the same time. And something happened with the label, so they couldn't go to Europe, and then their album wasn't released properly in Europe, so they only released in America off their first album. So they got like only in America, nowhere else, like off that for a healthy chunk of time.
I remember when they premiered on like WWE.
Oh yeah,
I remember when Stone Cold introduced them.
Yes,
and David came out on stage and started to sing "Stupefy" during a break. It was a break in the actual pro wrestling show, and he almost forgot the lyrics. There was like a thing. There's a moment in the thing where he stopped, like panicked, looked up, but then remembered and went back into it. And I was
I've
like,
been there many times.
But you could see the fear. You could see the fear in his eyes. He's like, I'm on fucking live television, the USA Network at the time.
Yes.
Stone Cold just introduced us.
Like
this is our moment.
There's probably a handful of words you're not allowed to say. You have to change your song. Go.
So I remember Disturbed when
try doing Snoop Dogg on stage as a white guy. I do it. I know exactly where to censor myself. I know what words to change.
Which words would you have to censor yourself?
I think it's gin, and we change it to whiskey because
juice.
Yeah.
Gin and juice. Nobody likes the juice.
Yeah. And you can't say for shizzle. You can't say that. Yeah. Not in this day
that dates you when you say for shizzle. You know,
it does. For shizzle, my nizzle.
All right, Matt. What about you?
I mean, I'd have to like. You want to pick fun answers, but I have to go with Metallica just for that reason.
All
that
right.
they, because they did have the thrash roots, and then they got heavier, and then they in the '90s people gave them crap for kind of changing to more of an alternative sound, but actually then they've got just a wider variety of different sounds. And then you talk about a band that has done. Well, one, they're the only band to play on every continent. I don't know if you know about that. They played in Antarctica.
They played in front of 1 million people in Russia, right?
They played. I actually was just looking up because of this album, because of this release. I just came across that footage in Moscow in '91. They played before 1.6 million people.
Insane.
It was
Putin there,
dude.
It's an ocean.
You got to see. Look up just Harvester of Sorrow, and it is the most surreal metal shit ever. You see choppers hovering in the background above the crowd. And they said too that like they had no idea. They felt terrible about it, but there's all these kids who have been so suppressed and they had no access to music. They didn't know how to handle all the energy. So but they've got a military presence. So these kids are releasing, these soldiers are like, we're supposed to keep the peace. They beat and killed like 30 people during the show.
Holy shit.
There was like 9 rapes in the crowd. But again, the band felt terrible. They just had no idea. And it's not really their fault. They just said, but it was like weeks before I think it was only weeks before the fall of the Soviet Union. It was like,
you can't look at a crowd of 1 million plus people and go, you, hey.
Oh yeah.
Right.
No.
Stop that.
Oh,
you
couldn't see
be an
it.
asshole.
Dude, it's a sea and it's foggy. I'm like, it's the most apocalyptic like scene ever. Like, you got to see that footage. It's unreal.
In a sense, Metallica brought down the Soviet Union.
Well, yes. Actually,
thank you, James.
This is another great history point. You know when who's a Panamanian dictator in the Noriega. Manuel Noriega. So when we invaded Panama and they flushed him and they went to the embassy, they were not allowed to tread on that ground. So a little known history fact is the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction and the Black Album were just recently released. So their way to flush them out, they erected massive speakers and played those for 3 straight days. And that's how they got them to surrender.
They've done that with Britney Spears songs before as well.
Listen, I think they could have done it in 8 hours with BTS.
Dude, just 3 days of
I know,
baby.
You're gonna die.
I mean, I just picture it just on the other side of the speakers where it's like an appropriate volume. Just the U.S. troops are just sitting there partying the whole time. They're just like, man, get stuff.
It's not the first time that they've done that. Actually, I think in World War I or World War II, they played heavy metal music as a way to force the enemy out of hiding.
Oh, also that Thunder or Mad Max.
Yeah.
Remember the guy on the front of the truck?
Oh, dude, that's such a great movie.
I know it. He loves that scene.
I love that scene. His guitar's blowing fire. He's just like,
Ian spraying that
be
silver
on that truck
shit
with him. I'm like, oh, that's my job. Yeah.
Tom Hardy.
I'm that guy spraying silver. We live, we die, we live again. Like he's speaking to me.
Exactly.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, coincidentally, I bet that's your artist, isn't it?
Oh my God! Yes.
Ian would send that guy.
I'm sending that guy through the time capsule.
All right, what about you, Ian?
Oh my God! How the hell do we go from that? That's
Shania Twain.
That felt good.
Yeah.
Now Metallica's good, Disturbed's good, but I guess I'll go in a different direction because we don't want them to think that it's a lot of anger we're sending.
You can go in any direction
go
you
whatever
want,
you
man.
want.
I'm gonna go with, and this is gonna be a controversial decision. It might be a little surprising to you guys, considering how well you know me. I'm gonna send Florence and the Machine through. Reason being is her voice is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And for all the angry stuff I listen to, if I'm gonna kill you, there's only a handful of artists that are gonna save your life.
Why are your teeth all silver?
Did you say a different direction and then you want to kill me?
Well, I'm just saying, if you're angry and you're stressed and you need to let go, there's nothing like if I'm getting like a massage, if I'm doing yoga, if I'm just like decompressing from the day,
right?
The best shit I can put on is Florence and the Machine. Okay. Whether it's Howl, whether it's Jenny of Old Stones, whether it's any of her songs, like it's so good. Like it's so good.
And side note, I have not heard one thing. I have no idea who you're talking about.
Florence and the Machine?
Nope. I'm going to have
They
to
have
check
some
it out.
really
You're going to
good
have
music.
to check it out.
Really
man.
good music.
That's what I mean. I'm like, as much music as I know, if you just haven't come across it, you brought that great point where you're like, there's too much to listen to.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing
Yes,
that.
there's not a lot out there that like, because I listen to some stuff and it'll come off as soft, but her voice, it's haunting. Nice. Like it just gets into you, and it just, you relax. You're like, all right, like, you know, I'll put this down.
So you would bring peace to the world 30 years from now.
So when so after they listen to
Keanu Reeves is supposed to bring peace to the world.
Well, so after
can't do it without Florence and the Machine.
Exactly. So what happens?
He needs his phone booth with the antenna that's clearly an umbrella.
Right. So what's gonna happen?
Carlin to help him get back there.
They're gonna listen to Down with the Sickness, and they're gonna listen to Harvester of Sorrow, and then when the future is burning, all of a sudden Florence is gonna come on, and it's all gonna be okay.
Wait, is that the equivalent of?
Yes.
Yeah. Wake up. All right, so for me, I'm gonna take it to another direction. Then I'm gonna go with a hip hop group, and probably for me, you guys know them. They're the most influential hip hop group in my lifetime, which is the Wu-Tang Clan. I definitely have to go with them. I mean, their catalog, their library, their influence.
Do we get to send the special album that Pharma Bro had under lock and key? Or
I hope so, because I still haven't heard any. I don't think if anybody has heard anything from
there's no digital copy. There's only the hard copy, and whoever currently has it is the only person that currently has it.
Fuck. So
Wu-Tang
the FDA has it.
Yeah.
What's the name of the guy?
Take forever.
Palsy has it. He's the one who's in charge of it. He's like, you guys have to get the vaccine. I will release the album. All right, fuck it. I'm on board.
It's the one thing.
No, but when I think of the Wu-Tang Clan, I mean, between the various styles, the intellect behind their music, it's raw, it's thoughtful, they tell stories, they are very imaginative, and they also brought like a very street vibe to them.
36 Chambers.
Yeah, 36 Chambers of Wu. And then the double album, Wu-Tang Forever, I mean...
And their individual albums.
Yeah, and their individual albums.
Raekwon's
It's
album.
probably like 100 albums when you round it all together.
Ghostface.
Yeah, so
Method Man's is, I mean...
Method Man.
Yeah.
That whole Chris Rock skit. He's like...
Sounds
he
good
goes
so far.
over all of his nicknames. He's like, Johnny Blaze, the Iron Lung, Tacalian Stallion. You know, it's like,
Wasn't Old Dirty Bastard in the movie?
oh, yes,
yeah.
he was.
Yes.
Dirty Bastard.
Yo, Old Dirty Bastard was still collecting food stamps
Yes.
while he was collecting money from
Wow.
the Wu-Tang Clan. The
Yes.
government was going after him. And like,
Didn't he do that on MTV?
He did, and that's how they caught him.
He literally collected.
My God.
He had a camera follow him in to collect his government assistance.
He was a wild man. He was like a rock star in
Yeah.
a hip hop group.
Right.
He lived up to his goddamn rap.
Oh,
name.
he did.
Yeah.
He was an old dirty bastard.
Yeah. I
That
think
was I watching Knocked Up. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
And the
Knocked Up.
first scene, they're like, it's like smoking by the pool, and all of a sudden they start Old Dirty.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, yes. I like got lit up right by the first song when they're playing. I'm like, yes, I can't believe they're playing this right now.
But that's just the type of vibe, the influence that they had on the culture. Like, even people that didn't listen to hip hop knew who Wu-Tang Clan was. They were in comics. They were in movies. They were very... their various personalities were all over the place. So for me, I think Wu-Tang Clan, hip hop, they would represent.
Watch that show. I just started watching
it's
it.
really, actually,
We're
very
2
good.
episodes in.
Yeah,
so,
I think you'll enjoy it.
It's interesting to like. I had no idea if that
Of
like,
that
the start
lifestyle.
of just how they started. I'm
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's truth to it.
There
obviously,
is.
But
That when the RZA, the leader of the Wu-Tang, he discusses how they go about making it. He said that it's like 70% true.
Yeah.
And then they embellish a little for the show to
Yeah.
make it more
They always
interesting.
embellish a little.
Yeah. But
Have to.
he's like, a lot of what happened to them.
except for Old Dirty, they're like, no, that shit happened.
No, he did that.
that.
He was a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah. Don't be fooled.
Yeah.
And I
We had to tame it down for the show.
and I think for them too, like if they really did live sort of like a street life, they have to say that some of it is embellished as well.
Yes.
If it is true,
Just
they
plausible
would implicate
deniability in
themselves.
court.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons I always respected DMX is because no matter what happened,
No.
he was always X.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm a famous rapper. I land at an airport. Like I have my choices. Like what do? Do I A, use my money and influence to get a ride from where I am to the hotel I need to stay at, or do I B, jump the fucking fence, hotwire a car, impersonate a police officer, and then get arrested?
Yes.
Like
And
I would go through a period.
I don't even know.
Oh my god! I would go through a period of every 4 to 5 years. I would Google DMX just to see what was up, and I was never disappointed. I would Google, and it's like DMX back in jail again, possession of crack. And I
DMX was his own Florida man.
Yeah.
and it's like you feel bad because you know the dude's struggling, but at the same time, I was like, he's unapologetically
No,
X.
he
He's
lived
just
his
DMX.
life as DMX.
You never took him out of the streets.
Yeah.
It was ingrained in him, and he was just, oh my god, he's one of my favorite rappers ever.
That's fucking dope. I think that was a great episode, Ed. Cue the music. All right, thank you for listening to the Sofa Kingdom podcast, and you can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC.
Nice.
Look us up.
Yes,
They
and you
got
can find us
business
on
cards.
YouTube as well. Yeah, we're official bitches.
Yeah,
We got
you
business
can
cards.
download our shit now.
Yeah, Sofa Kingdom podcast on YouTube. It's up.
Also, don't forget to look up Matt Hilton and the Kindly Crooks on Instagram and pay attention to their local shows, South Florida.
Yeah,
pretty good.
no, of course. And listen, after talking to you, golf is okay.
Yes.
You are always entitled to your opinion.
I just can't do it.
We literally talked about that the other day. I'm like, I've never actually played golf.
Me neither.
I can't
Me
putt,
neither.
I can't
honestly
swing,
can't
I
say
can't.
it. I played a lot of hockey though.
Fine, I've never been in a fight. Let me share you my expert opinion on all all the MMA guys and what holds work.
God damn it.
Shit, damn it.
Touche.
Destroyed. Destroyed.
Shooter.
Good shit, guys. Good shit.
Oh my god. That was good.
That was fun.
Fucking killed it.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome.
It was a good time.